The other day, I got accused of being too chefy.
Too chefy or not
Too
chefy?
chefy. What? You're getting... People are saying you're too chefy enough for your...
You're right.
Here's the thing. I take that as a compliment, so I'm doubling down. I want to go extra chefy.
Bring on the chef.
I'm going to show you guys something that might have a little controversy. Raw beef, tartar territory. Tartar territory.
Yeah.
Say that 5 times. I'm going to show you beef carpaccio. It is elegant and beautiful, and with just a little bit of technique, you can truly take your presentation and your dinner game to the absolute next level. Let me show you how I like to do it. Now we're actually borrowing from a couple other videos, the techniques from a couple other videos. We did a beef tataki where I showed you guys really, really rare beef. And then we did, what did I do with the citrus thing that we're doing right now? Basically,
wasn't it the steak bites?
Maybe. No, it was the tartar sauce. Or the shrimp sauce.
The shrimp sauce. Cocktail sauce.
Yeah, it's basically citrus zest. I've got lemon, lime, and orange. Let's get to our beef. Today I'm using filet. Now filet is extremely tender. It's very, very lean if you look really close. You know, we don't have all the fat. It's not like a ribeye or a New York strip. Now with this, we're gonna do 2 different seasonings. I'm gonna start with my Tuscan herb. We're gonna sear this. I mentioned earlier that it's basically raw. Don't get afraid, don't get afraid. So sometimes people get worried about contamination and all that stuff. Should I even talk about that, CJ?
I don't know.
That's weird to talk about. I'm doing some of the Blackstone blackened as well.
So, but no oil at this point?
No oil at this point, but I do want to get my gloves because I'm going to get to know this filet. Yeah, so essentially if you have ground beef, any stuff that's on the surface gets ground into the inside. But if you got a beautiful filet like this, if there is any bacteria, we're going to sear it off. So we will be fine and safe if you are worried about it. I'm sure a bunch of people out there are going to listen and just let me know in the comments anyway. So if you see them down there, let them know I said hello.
So what are we making again today, Carp?
So carpaccio is essentially pounded thin beef or sliced thin beef, however you like to do it. Season your plate a little bit like that, and then take your beautiful filet, just kind of roll it around the sides. We want to get all of this thing covered in seasoning. Now remember, seasoning doesn't go all the way through to the center of your steak. So this is a fairly thick, beautiful piece of filet, so go generous.
And something to note, the Tuscan herb, there's almost like there's no salt.
It's not very salty, right? It's not very salty.
So it's not with herbs, but
we're looking for color, texture, and flavor with that one. If you haven't tried the blackened yet, it's fantastic. It's a really great. I think it's an all-purpose seasoning. It just does add a lot of color, that dark color. It's activated charcoal.
It makes a really great crust as well.
Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful. All right, now my griddle. Oh wait, I almost left. Hello, the last little thing I want. All that citrus. Check this out. Just some of that right on top, and like kind of push it in. That's too much.
You almost missed that one.
Almost missed it. Almost missed it. This is really a beautiful star of the show. Nice and even. We just want to kind of go all the way around. I mean, the zest has a ton of flavor, so you don't need a ton of it. But this is going to sear super quick. And I shouldn't have squished it in the beginning. It's all getting all clumpy. Yeah. Note to self, when you guys do it at home, grab it nice and gingerly and sprinkle it over. Yeah, this is going to add a really robust, wonderful flavor. We're going to make a vinaigrette later. And you'll see where the flavors come back to play. All right, now I've got my griddle set on medium. I want it to be smoking. Actually, I'm at like high. I correct myself. I'm at high. That's where I want it to be. I want to be smoking hot because we want to sear this on the outside. Now, traditionally, carpaccio, beef carpaccio is not cooked at all. So it's all raw. I like the appearance and the texture of a slightly seared exterior. So we want to do it fast. So here we go, right. Oh yeah, that's what we want. You want to go screaming hot, super, super hot. We're gonna sear this for, let's say 60 seconds per side. You can do the edges if you want to. What we're looking for is a beautiful crust while maintaining that very, very rare internal temperature. So I will see you in like 3 minutes. Once we get that beautiful sear, again, not too long, we're gonna pull it off and let it rest for a second. Now this is a bit more involved, but we do want this to rest. We don't want any of that intermuscular fat.
Hey.
He knows.
Yep.
He knows. We don't want that to start rendering yet. There's not a lot, but some is in there. So I'm getting too wordy. I was accused of that a little while ago.
Too wordy.
Wordy. Let it rest before we get to the next step. So this next part is important. I said it earlier. There's a few more steps involved, but when you want to elevate, you've got to take a few extra steps. We're gonna wrap.
Oh.
We're gonna
Oh.
Seriously? Why you do me like that? Let's see if this will fit. We might be all right here. I think we're gonna be all right here.
Do you need to?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
No.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
We might be all right here. We want to chill this. We want to keep it shaped. Dude, we're gonna be good
yeah,
here.
You're good.
We're totally good. Gonzo?
Gonzo's good. I don't know.
That's you. We want to keep this nice and chill. We want this to be tight. Now, the reason is because we're going to slice it in just a bit. If we want to, we can pound it out even more thin than that, but that looks pretty solid. It can go a little tighter if you want. Now, this is going to go into the freezer for 10-15 minutes so it's nice and chilled. Now, while that beef is chilling, let's go ahead and get to our garnishes. The first one I'm going to do is some pickled red onion. Now, this is like too easy. You don't even really need a recipe. There's 2 ingredients. I'm going to cut up like kind of thinly slice. We want these to be bite-sized little pieces of red onion. So, I mean, don't go crazy with it, but we do want it to be elegant and we do want it to be uniform. To that, we're going to add a bit of sesame oil and a bit of yuzu rice vinegar. Now, this has a bit of citrusy characteristics. If you wanted to, let's go ahead and add a bit of that lemon and lime juice to this as well, and that's it.
Dude, my math could be off.
It's so good.
It's like more than 2.
You know what? It started with 2.
Like 4.
It started with 2.
Now 4.
Now it's a family. Let's talk about our sauce. Our sauce is just as easy. We're going to start with mayo. Same thing. We want a bit of lemon and lime juice. That's it. That's 3 ingredients. How's that,
okay.
CJ?
Good math.
We're going to whip that all together. Essentially what we're doing is we're creating some acidity. Our garnishes, our sauces are going to have a bit of punch, a bit of acidity to really accent that savory, gorgeous beef. Now, I don't know. You know what I want to do? Let's add a little bit of cilantro. Add a touch of cilantro just to give the sauce a little depth. I've got a baguette, another little piece of garnish. A little crunch is going to go a long way, not just for the appearance, the presentation, but also the eating part of this, which is going to be so much fun. Use a bread knife, slice that nice and thin. We want it to be almost like not as hard as a cracker, but we want this to be crispy, a crispy little treat. Right? It needs to hold, yeah, exactly. Thank you, CJ.
You're welcome.
Thank you, CJ. A little bit of olive oil on the griddle, and let's toast those on both sides. Don't go hard. If they can be slightly soft on the inside, that's great. But we definitely want toast on both sides. Now our steak has had a chance to chill out. Just got it out of the freezer. We're not frozen. Remember, this is like 10-15 minutes tops.
So this steak literally chilled out, Max, in a relaxed.
Literally chill.
Wrong show.
That's great. It's good. That's good. It's good. All right, now, so what we're left with is this beautiful crust. Now, if we were going hard, like for a steak, if we were just serving steak, we would have gone longer. But remember, we didn't. So when we slice this, let me get rid of all this. I don't want any herbs on my knife because I want this part. Let me talk about presentation for a second. The only difference between you making something magnificent like this at home and making it at the restaurant is about $37. Woo! What I mean is it's technique. It's technique. Very, very simple, right? So what we did was we seared this with our seasoning. Now we're going to slice it very, very thin. Check out how rare. Now we're going paper thin here, as thin as you can. Use a sharp knife. Oh. Very, very thin, right? Just like that. Now this is where the appearance comes in. CJ, can you see that in the close-up?
Oh, yeah.
The edges have that beautiful little crust. The seasoning from the blackened and the herbs. Now slicing it thin is going to give us a chance to have this really, really elegant presentation. So keep it shingled as you slice and keep it thin. Keep it really, really thin. If you really wanted to, you could pound this out, but I think this is thin enough. Now let's get to plating. This is the fun part. Let's get to plating. I'm going to start with that beautiful beef. Now you can see how very rare it is, and it does make, I mentioned it earlier, like it's seared on the outside, so we're protected. If it offends you, then, go watch one of CJ's videos, right?
Whoa!
Because they're delicious.
Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Fan it out nice and even. We want kind of a flat palette, a flat surface here for all of our colors. From there, we're going to start layering all of our beautiful stuff. I mean, you saw all the garnishes, the sauce, right? Those pickled red onions. What you didn't see is some capers, some mustard. Making decorations on your plate, making it look nice is very, very simple. The trick right here with the sauce, just make little circles, little dollops, little half moon. Very simple stuff. Arrange all of your garnish so it's even, so that it looks beautiful. The colors start to contrast. Something else I like to do at little end, some Parmesan, little shaves of Parmesan. You can use a vegetable peeler right on a block of Parmesan, a little bit of red chili oil just for contrast. I mean, this is one of those those things where the sum is greater than its parts, right? So as it starts to come together, you just start to see this magnificent creation. Something else that really bothers me, CJ, whenever I order this at restaurants, they never give you enough of the baguette. They never give you enough crostini, is what they actually call them.
Right.
They never give you enough. But when you put them on the plate, you see why. If you add too many, it looks weird. But this looks phenomenal.
Pretty amazing, dude.
I'm gonna definitely need some more crostini though. Let's get into this. Now, it truly is up to you how you eat this. But I lost my beautiful little bit of
Everything.
mustard. Let me get that back. But this is one of those things, Ethan tried a little bit off camera. So very delicate, right, buddy?
Yes.
So very delicate. All the colors, everything looks really fantastic. I mean, it's one of those things, like, it's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
I really can't wait to try this.
Mmm.
Looks amazing.
Mmm.
Tastes amazing? Yeah. Is amazing. Gotcha. Noted. Yep. All the things. Okay.
Out of the park.
Out of the park. Okay.
Flavor is crazy. So good. So what we did with the vinaigrette, we added some acidity. With our sauce, we added the juice, right? The citrus juice. The mustard, we have saltiness from the seasoning. We have a bit of saltiness from the parmesan. We have a little pickled onion, so we have a bit of crunch. It's still that bright, fresh crunch. So all the savory, all of the acidity, the sweets that are even in there, this is just, it's magnificent.
Yeah, this will be a first for me, and I can't wait, dude.
Thank you all so much for watching. I truly love dishes like this that are so simple, but really elevated and elegant. You can do this at home. Don't be afraid of making stuff look chefy. I'm gonna find a better word for that. It's refined. It just means you took a little extra time to make it wonderful for your guests.
It's not a bad word.
Not a bad word. Not a bad word at all. Well, this is Cook, Eat, Repeat, where we like to help you become a better cook one recipe at a time. I'm your host, Chef Nathan Lippy, and I'll see you all in the next episode.